Alright, so we have most of our UI done. Now what we want to do is start to write the service to fetch the to-dos from MongoDB. So let's go to our app client folder and then the app folder and create a folder called services. And then inside there we're going to create a file and it's going to be called todo.service.ts. And we're going to do the same thing we've done with all of our services in this course. We're going to import injectable so that this can be injected as a dependency. Then we're going to import the HTTP module. Okay, we're also going to use observables, so we need reactive extensions. We need the map function, or the map operator, I should say. So that's rxjs/add/operator/map. Alright, then we need our injectable decorator, and then the class. Add a constructor. And we want to inject the HTTP module here. So let's say public underscore HTTP, set that to HTTP. Okay, now we need to get the to-dos from our API. So let's say get to-dos. And we're going to just return this dot underscore HTTP dot get, and let's put our API's URL in here, which is /API/v1/todos. Alright, and then we're going to save that and go into the app component TS file, and we're going to import the service. So this is to do service dot slash services slash to do dot service. Okay, we also need to import the HTTP providers. Alright, and then we're going to add both of those as a provider down here. Just like that. Save that, and then let's go to our to-do component TS file, and we're going to bring the service into there. Okay, now we need to go outside of the components folder, so // and then into services to do.service. Okay. We also want to bring in the map operator because we're working with observables. Actually, we don't need curly braces here. I'm just going to say rxjs/add/operator/map. Alright, and then down here inside the class, actually, you know what else we want to bring in is on init. So right here we'll put a comma and on init. And in order to use it, we have to add to our class right here. We have to say implements on init, and then we're going to have a constructor, and we're also going to need the ng on init. Okay, we want to use the to-do service, so we need to inject it in the constructor parameter. So we're going to say private underscore to-do service, set that to to-do service. Now we're going to set a property up here for to-dos, and we're going to set the type. We're going to set it to to-do. Alright, and that's going to give us an error because we haven't defined what a to-do is. So we're actually going to create a file outside of the app folder, so right in the client folder. Actually, no, let's put it in the app folder. So in the app folder, we'll create a new file, and we'll call it todo.ts. And we're going to say export class to do, and it's going to have text, which is going to be a string, and it's going to have is completed, which is going to be a boolean. Okay, we'll save that. Let's go back to our to do component, and now we have to bring that in. So we're going to say import to do from, okay, we want to go // to do. Okay, now you can see that that error is gone. Alright, so remember in our service we have this getToDos method. Okay, so we want to use that. So in our component, we want to be in the ng on init. We're going to say this dot todos equals an empty array, and then we'll say this dot, and we want to use the service, so underscore to do service dot get to dos, and we're going to use dot map. So in here we'll say res, set that to res.json, and then we're going to add dot subscribe to dos, and then we'll say this dot to dos equals to dos. Okay, so hopefully that went in the service in the get to dos method and grabbed them and put it in the to dos property so that we can access them from our view. Alright, so now let's go to to-dos component HTML, and actually we already have this here. We're already checking to see if there's any. Let's see if that error goes away. Alright, so now you can see that that error is gone because there is now a to-dos. Alright, and it actually found some. You notice that that warning we had that said no to-dos, that's not there anymore. Alright, we don't see them here because we haven't added them yet. So let's go ahead and do that. What we'll do is put a div right here, and that'll end here. And then we're going to put an ng4 in here. Okay, so we're going to say ng4 let to do of to dos, and let's see, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to put to do dot text. Alright, and then that should be good. So let's save that, see if that works. And there we go. So we now have our to-dos coming from our database. Now I want these buttons to be separated a little bit, so I'm going to go into the style CSS, and we have them in a class called buttons, or BTNS, and then we want to say inputs. Let's say margin right 5 pixels, and then margin bottom 3 pixels. Alright, so that looks a little better. So we're going to go ahead and stop here, and in the next video we're going to make it so that we can actually add to-dos to our database from the form.